Mike, I know your camera must be bursting with over hundreds and thousands of photos. I know this because the average family produces 3,000 plus photos per year.
Yeah, I'm not the average family. But, I might even be higher, though, because I'm considered a point-and-shoot expert.
I also know that instead of enjoying your photos, they are a source of stress and anxiety because you just don't have the time to deal with them. And they sit on your phone or a memory card or on the cloud, and you never share them with anyone.
Actually, I don't have that problem because I use a service called Memory My Way. It's where the modern family gets the help they need to rescue those memories from the cloud.
What? Mike, if I could only imagine having a plan in place to get those memories into photo books year after year. That just takes forever.
Well, tech guy, with a membership at Memory My Way, this plan is baked right into the heart of the whole thing. Members learn exactly how to get organized and in control, back up the right way, and the very best part is, everyone is paired with a professional designer who custom creates each book, saving members tons of time.
Plans start as low as $39 a month. The monthly fee includes it all. Ready and waiting for you to tell your unique story. Your memories shouldn't be lost to the cloud or your devices.
Yep, that's www.memorymyway.com. And you can just go out there and become a point-and-shoot expert today.
TechTime listeners, a special for you. If you sign up, we will give you $5 off your first month. That's right, $5 off your first month by putting in the code TechTime at checkout. Visit them today, www.memorymyway.com. And tell them Nathan and Mike sent you. We would like to thank Podcorn for sponsoring this episode of TechTime Radio. Explore sponsorship opportunities and start monetizing your podcast by signing up at podcorn.com/podcasters. Let me tell you about Podcorn. Podcorn is an absolute must for any podcaster starting out. Now, when we started out TechTime Radio, we started out in a back office with a couple of mics. We expanded to a studio, and then now, as you can see, we're on the radio and have distribution into other markets. Having the ability to have Podcorn at the start of our podcast would have been a dream come true. Guess what? With Podcorn, you now have the amazing opportunity for podcasts to receive sponsorship, such as host reads, interview segments, and topical discussions. With Podcorn, there's no middleman. Podcasters of all sizes can browse and choose opportunities right on their platform, set their own rates, and collaborate with brands directly without exclusivities. You never give up the rights of your podcast in Podcorn, and they're here to support you everywhere possible. Visit podcorn.com. Again, that's podcorn.com. Podcorn is a true success for those starting their podcast dreams.
Coming to you from the shores of the Pacific Northwest, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Where's your green shirt?
My green shirt is no longer here. Good day, everybody. Thank you for joining us for TechTime Radio. Mr. Gourdet, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm peachy, man.
You're peachy?
Yeah.
How'd you sleep last night?
I didn't.
You didn't? I know, because me and you were playing video games last night till about midnight.
I was playing until like 3 in the morning.
Did you keep on going?
I couldn't sleep, yeah.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, it was too my brain was too busy.
Too busy? So Sea of Thieves, if anybody plays Sea of Thieves, Mike and I have not only do we work together here on the radio show, but we also go and play a little Sea of Thieves, and Mike is the captain of our ship because I just keep on shooting down cannons all the time.
Yeah, you just go flying off. You're like the ADD pirate. You know, hey, let's go do that. Oh wait, let's go kill that. Let's do that. Oh wait,
yeah, that's right. All right. Welcome to TechTime Radio. Our live show is streaming, of course, on Facebook, YouTube, and of course on KKNW 1150 AM. Welcome to our 1-hour talk show where we currently talk about technology without having to geek out. We highlight top tech news of the week along with segments that bring different perspectives and highlighted topics. We're live on Facebook at facebook.com/TechTime Radio. If you're watching us on YouTube, we have Super Chat enabled, so you can do a Super Chat and we'll read that on the air. And then, of course, you can always be a part of our membership program on YouTube and actually come into one of our production shows. Or our production meetings, sorry, or not our production show, our production meetings.
Which we hammer.
Which you hammer me.
We hammer.
We hammer
Nathan. Time.
Nathan, you need to do this better. You need to do this better. It's really just it's like being married for 27 years. All right. So on our radio show, if you're listening to us live, it's Saturday. And if you're listening to us on a rebroadcast on YouTube, on our podcast station, on Facebook, and it is delayed, you can always go to techtimeradio.com and make sure you click on the latest information so that everything is updated for you as we give you technology news for the whole upcoming week. Well, as we start every single show, Mike, we start with our loaded question of the day. So, who do you think is secretly alive?
Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney is.
Yeah.
You think he's alive?
Yeah.
Is there a song on that? I don't know who. I mean, I know who Paul McCartney is, but I did not know.
Don't you know the whole thing with Paul McCartney about his death being greatly exaggerated?
No, what was that? No, tell me.
That was like a big thing, like many years ago. Where the newspapers reported him dead, and that's where that whole saying comes from.
Oh, is it? And then he wasn't dead, so the
news of my death has been greatly exaggerated. So that was a total fail on your.
I didn't really know it. I mean, I could say, oh yeah, absolutely.
Let's just go with Elvis. I'll date myself, and we'll just say it's Elvis.
So Elvis, it can't be Elvis. It's got to be somebody more recent.
More recent?
Yeah. You know what? It's the guy that was in The Crow. The guy.
Brandon Lee.
Yes, Brandon Lee is still alive.
Okay.
I don't know why. But
I
just remember.
I thought Paul McCartney was pretty witty, but apparently it wasn't. So
let's
move on.
Probably for most of the audience, maybe just not.
Maybe
myself.
not for you.
Okay, that's right. Okay, on today's show, we have two special guests that will help us answer the questions. How do autonomous cars drive in the snow?
They don't.
Well, we're going to talk about that. And we have a special guest from another country. Well, not really. He's just from the other side of the United States in the New York area, but I consider that almost another country.
It's not Texas.
Well, it's not Texas. In our gadgets and gear, we have the COO of MeetOval, an IoT Internet of Things smart home device winner for 2021.
And who is that?
That is Eric Peltz.
Pels.
Is it Pels?
Pels.
Is it Pels? Okay,
yeah.
I was close.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't completely butcher it. I know that we asked to make sure we got that taken care of. We also have, again, joining us, Phil Hennisley, our Morpheus Tech CEO, should be joining us in making sure that we have some information on the autonomous car driving stuff. So I would be excited about that also.
Perfect.
We have Nathan's Nugget coming on back. And so I know that makes you excited.
I'm excited about that.
All right, and we're going to be giving away our Story Coffee and Pulse device. So we have those here to give away. I ran out of Story Coffee. Are you out of Story Coffee?
I'm out of Story Coffee like the week I get it. I go through a bad. I need more coffee.
You need more coffee?
Yeah, I'm going to have to buy more coffee.
It is really good coffee. It is by far the best coffee I've ever tasted.
That could be a very bad thing for me, an addiction.
An addiction to coffee?
To this one.
So my addictions are coffee and Rockstar. So in the same day.
I know.
In the same day.
Yeah, I know.
Just makes you go, I'm so excited.
Yeah,
okay.
Is that what it is?
That's right. Okay. And for the most witty tweet that we received today, I'm going to give them a private invite to Clubhouse. That's the invite only. I got an invite to Clubhouse.
Did you?
I did. It's you know what? I like it. I understand it's just talking.
Yeah, I'm really.
It's a party line. It's just the party line of the 70s.
But it's only for iPhone users.
It is only for iPhone right now.
I'm an Android guy, so
I
can be witty as hell and
no one's ever going to hear you.
Yeah,
I know. I'm sorry to hear that.
Damn it.
That's why I got an iPhone, so I'm okay. All right, and then of course we have our whiskey tasting during the commercial breaks, where we'll see if our whiskey is a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or in between.
Compared to last week's, it's probably going to be a thumbs up.
Well, last week's was pretty bad, but you know what? You got to have some good whiskey to make sure that you have some bad whiskey, so that you don't keep your palate.
I don't think
always,
that works the same. No.
Okay.
We don't need bad whiskey. Okay. It's just
so you can reach us at 1-888-298-KKNW, which is 5569. You can always reach us during our show at our Twitter hashtag TechTime Radio. And then you can also call us locally at 425-373-5527, and you'll get a chance to talk to David off the air. And if you got a question for us, we'll maybe put you on. And the best one...
Or you could give Nathan fashion advice.
No more fashion advice. Green shirt is gone. All right, so now let's start our episodes off with our top stories in the first 5 minutes.
What's happening in the world of technology? This is our top stories in the first 5 minutes.
All right, Fry's Electronics is going out of business after 36 years. Katie has more on the story that we got on audio.
Fry's Electronics is closing. The company says the COVID-19 pandemic made it impossible to continue. The chain was founded 36 years ago and had 31 stores in 9 different states. Fry's Electronics Inc. says its operations are officially ceased and the wind down of locations is starting immediately. Customers getting electronics repaired at any of the stores are asked to pick them up.
Okay, now the funniest part, who is going to take your electronics to get repaired on a company that is just barely staying open?
I don't know.
So it was really obvious that they were struggling.
So
You'd walk in there and it was
really
a ghost
COVID?
town.
Yeah.
It was a ghost town. I mean, you would go.
We know why they're closing. It's not COVID.
No, it has nothing to do with COVID. It has to do with that you can purchase online a big company called Amazon where you can buy essentially the same products without having
Or Best Buy.
Or Best Buy. Best Buy, you remember Best Buy was like really good, kind of went down into turmoil, and then all of a sudden they had their president and CEO and founder come back, and now Best Buy is phenomenal. They have the little Apple store in there and everything.
Steve Jobs did.
So here we go. 31 stores after 36 years. Each store was uniquely different. I did not know that until doing this research on here. So like the Texas store was themed Texas. They had one in California, and they would be Beach Boys. Ours down here in the Pacific Northwest was just
Was
cobblestones.
Hipster? Was it hipster?
No, it was just cobblestones.
Okay.
So it was just the basic store that you'd ever have.
It wasn't hipster and
no, there was
grunge, huh?
nothing. No, it was nothing. But the company does say that it will try to take care of most of its creditors and stakeholders. So you don't have to be completely out of luck, but if you want any warranty work at Fry's Electronics, your warranty is beep.
Oh, well.
Okay. Former Windows chief Tyre Myerson is building a healthcare Terry Myerson is building a healthcare data startup called True. I know I have all these things phonetically pronounced. Truveta. Truveta.
Do you
Golly,
need some, you need some
got me
help
with my
today,
name,
huh?
Truveta. Yeah, my hooked
It's
on phonics.
Pels.
Okay. The Seattle area startup essentially is known for big data, and they have been working with a local health group called Providence Health and Services, which is a large health care base in the Washington state. See, you got me.
Yeah, you haven't had any. You haven't even had any whiskey.
You got
yet.
me
Come on.
all going flustered. Okay, Providence runs a $300 million venture capital fund that essentially has been took for Truveta to give new information regarding vaccines and processes. So essentially, that's an ex-Microsoft employee starting up a company that's working with a local pharmaceutical and healthcare to provide big data analytics to help with their areas.
All right.
So actually, I knew him at Microsoft, so that's why that story's in there. So
Okay.
he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah?
So, yeah, he's a pretty sharp guy too.
That's
so,
good.
Yeah.
Well, we like sharp guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of people
with
that
needles.
No. He's not a needle guy or a doctor guy, but he's a big data guy. So next thing we got story 3: Google-Sidewalk linked smart city plan is ditched again. First it was Toronto,
Now it's
Portland. And
Why?
if any place is going to be able to pull it off, Portland is the place to pull it off, right?
Why is that?
Well, the Smart City project, started by Google's sister company called Sidewalk Labs, tracks mobility patterns in the U.S. cities of Portland and many other areas, has essentially been shelved. Portland confirmed the project would no longer go ahead. Sidewalk was unwilling to share data at the level of detail requested by the city, citing concerns about privacy. So here goes into our big privacy.
Yep.
So Sidewalk has a lot of data. They were not willing to release all of the data to Portland that would be essentially using it. They would only give them a subset of the data that they collected, and the rest of it would be taken care of. So, in a statement, Metro, the city agency in charge of the project, after reviewing the draft, Metro ended its relationship. They said, "We wish Sidewalk Labs the best with its future work. The plan to use the data to make policy decisions, where to build bike lanes, how to repair roads, and to make bus services efficient is no longer in play."
So are they saying that the subset that they get was not adequate for that?
Yeah.
Or they just wanted more information so they could do other
No,
things?
I think that they wanted to have full clarity of the information that was available for them there, and I don't think Sidewalk was willing to give all of their information and how they collected their information and what was taken care of it.
That's interesting, considering Google has more information on anybody than anybody knows.
Correct. And we talked about the smart street lights that have cameras built into it and tracking different areas. This would have been a part of those type of processes, but essentially Portland said no, and Toronto said no. Those are both very progressive cities that you would have easily probably been able to get in and have an acceptance on that. So that means Google must be getting stuff that's not being taken care of.
Yeah.
Well, there is our 5-minute buzzer. We got through all 5 stories in the first 5 minutes. That's fantastic. You see that?
Did we do 5 stories?
Or no, sorry, all 3 stories in our first 5 minutes. Sorry, 3 stories. All right.
Okay. Math doesn't work either, does it?
Okay, listen. I was fine until, that's exactly right. I was fine until all of a sudden you started making fun of me. And then I just looked at every word on the page and I don't even have dyslexic. I just read too quick ahead.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
Yeah, you're turning red right now.
I know. I am. All right. Up next, we have a guest interview with our gadgets and gear hero. But before that, we're going to have some items that will, I'm sure, make you go, as we make sure that you have the ability to get a hold of us at hashtag TechTime Radio. Ask us a question or get us on the phone and we can ask your question or answer your information. We're going out to commercial break. When we come on back, we'll have our pick of the day. I'm Nathan Mumm, your host. Thank you for listening to TechTime Radio.
Hey, Mike,
Yeah, what's going on?
have you heard about 180 Consulting?
No.
I love these guys. You know how much I avoid working with copy vendors, right?
Actually, I get to hear about it all the time.
Not anymore, because guess what? The guys at 180 Consulting took over the entire process. They assessed our needs, worked directly with the vendors on my behalf, and helped us understand our option. No sales fluff, just good information so we can make the right decision.
Well, that sounds good. How do they get paid?
Their only compensation comes from a small share of the cost savings they create. They work for us, and it's a win-win.
You know, that sounds like a no-brainer.
There's 2 ways to reach them. You can get them at info@180-consulting.com or visit them online at www.180-consulting.com.
www.180-consulting.com.
Thank you, Mike. 180-consulting.com.
At H&R Block, get your maximum refund guaranteed. Get every credit and deduction you deserve. Or get your money back. File with a tax pro or on your own. Then, relax. With a max refund guaranteed, Block has your back.
So here at TechTime Radio, we got a new sponsor. It's called Smile Brilliant. If you're like me, you're a little confused about teeth whitening due to all the product variations on the market. So what have we learned?
Well, LED lights are a novelty and they don't actually produce better results.
Right, and strips neglect the gum lines, crevices, and molars.
And then that crest whitening with charcoal and everything is an abrasive that actually wears down the enamel of your teeth.
Yeah, and whitening toothpaste only works on the surface stains.
The number one product recommended by dentists are custom-fitted trays made by the dentists. They are, however, very, very costly.
With Smile Brilliant's lab direct process, you can have a custom-fitted teeth whitening tray at a fraction of the price without a single visit to a dentist.
Using an exact model of your teeth, Smile Brilliant's lab technicians will handcraft your trays to ensure the best possible results.
You do all of this from the comfort of your home using their lab direct mail-in process for as little as $149 or 3 easy payments of $49. Additionally, you get a 2-year tray replacement warranty and a 45-day satisfaction guarantee. For a limited time, as a TechTime Radio listener, you can buy any teeth whitening or night guard system and receive a second absolutely free for a friend or family member. Head on over to smilebrilliant.com and use the TechTime Radio coupon code at checkout.
Welcome back to Tech Time Radio. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm, and I did get a tweet message that someone said I didn't need more sleep. So I was fine until you made fun of me, and then I get all worried about it.
It could be the sleep issue.
It could be the sleep issue,
Although
yes.
I had less sleep than you, and I'm not slurring.
But you're
either.
always, that's because you're very well educated. I'm just intelligent.
Okay. There you go.
All right, so
Good
during our break, we have the Jameson Irish Whiskey, 80 proof, $29 per bottle. It's triple distilled, twice as smooth, and one of a kind. Jameson Irish Whiskey is a blend of Irish whiskey that says it takes its time for a smooth and mellow finish with the perfect balance of spicy, nutty, and vanilla notes that hint through the sweet sherry tastes of smoothness. Now, you know what? Okay, now listen. This is the time that I do my slurring and when I'm talking about the whiskey where I just butcher everything.
Yeah, you did that one really well.
And I just hit that perfect.
Yeah.
So that's like a home run.
I'm not a cat.
I'm not a cat. There goes our I'm not a cat.
I'm not a cat.
All right, so if you haven't joined us, we have a whole file now David has on his computer here that he'll be interrupting our show. And I did 2 episodes in a row with the information regarding the Zoom, Rod Pronton, that was the lawyer that essentially got in trouble for the cat. So he's going to be dropping in stuff back and forth for us now, and that'll be fantastic.
Thanks for letting us know.
Okay, I just wanted to let everybody know, because if they hear a little bit of audio in there and they didn't know where that was coming from before, we would continue to progress our shows each and every week. All right. Well, what do you think of the drink so far?
So far, so good.
It's pretty good.
It's not as
Kentucky's
bad as worst.
It's not Kentucky's best. That was Kentucky's best last night, or last time. Okay, so we have a great segment that we're going to get right to in the CES 2020 virtual event. I had a chance to actually take a look at this product. We have this product on the show, the show, and essentially we're going to move to our next segment called Gadgets and Gear.
What's new in our gadgets and gear?
All right, so I'm bringing our stuff over here. So here's the box right here of the company we're going to be talking about. It's Oval. And they have a wireless device that we'll talk about here in a little bit. And then they have receptors at each of the ends of the devices, and they have a special dongle here specifically for water. So we're going to talk a little bit about it, and we're really excited to have the co-founder essentially on the show itself. So let's talk about it first. We have a little audio clip here that will explain what this device does.
Are you ready for a smart home product that isn't always watching or listening to you? Then MeetOval. Without using cameras or microphones, this discreet 5-in-1 smart sensor monitors and alerts you to instances of motion, water, temperature, humidity, and light.
All right, so essentially this is great, and we're going to have the co-founder on, but what I like best about it is most IoT or Internet of Things sensors
There you go.
have speakers, have a little camera built into it, so your privacy can be invaded by the third-party app. But let's talk about what this does. This smart device is an all-in-one smart device without cameras and microphones. I don't know if I can say that enough because nobody else on the market really has it. That's their distinction of what they have. Monitors detect sudden and gradual changes in temperature, light, humidity, motion, and water. Now, the motion sensor is not like a camera that's spying on you, but it's essentially an accelerometer that's built into the device itself that when it moves left or right or when it's moving, it says that there's a detection that's available there. So if you had it on your table and an earthquake came, it'll detect it. But if you're trying to see your camera of your postman coming on up and dropping mail, you're probably not going to get it. Now, this device is built on your home's 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi network, and it uses Zigbee to communicate with sensors with a 100-foot range, which means that essentially this works on older routers because there's the 5 gigahertz, which is the newer standard, but the 2.4 gigahertz is the older wireless standard that's been around for a long time. So this essentially will work with every device out there on the wireless. And it uses its own built-in network of the Zigbee network, which is a communication that works from the device itself to go back to the base unit that they have here, which then is being monitored and controlled through their third-party app itself.
All right.
So I just wanted to make sure that was all explained up front on the technical aspects.
Yeah.
What did I do? Did I make it easier so everybody understands that?
Sure, I know exactly what's going on now.
Okay. Well, that's all right. Okay. Well, very excited. We will have Eric will be joining us. He is drinking, I heard, Redemption Rye, and we actually
I think that was Eric that was drinking.
Is that right there? Look at there. That
you
know
go.
what? We actually have that planned in the upcoming shows. That's on our list to do. So we're actually you watch next week's show, and we're actually going to put it back on. So I've had Redemption Rye. It's about a $30 bottle.
Yeah,
that's right.
And it's got a very smooth taste also.
That's what he said.
It does.
Oh, it does. Okay. Well, there you go. So you know what?
We already got a thumbs up on it.
We got well, I don't know if I like it, but yes, I already like it. But I'm not going to give it away.
Thumbs up.
All right. So I have questions, and I'm sure our press person sent you a bunch of list of questions. So all the questions, Eric, that she sent you, we're not going to ask any of those. So I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you completely different ones. Those are just to prep you.
Way to go.
That's you know what? Yeah. Okay. So here's what I want to know first.
Sir.
So how does a lawyer get into making an IoT device? See, we're just going to go right to the hard-hitting things because let me tell you what Eric did. Eric has worked for ABC News for 10 years. He helped launch Good Morning America in 2004. He has tons of litigation information. So this guy is not only the chief operating officer, but he's also general counsel. So if you screw up with him, he's going to make sure you're in trouble. But how does a lawyer go to making an IoT product?
Law's just not that great or interesting when it comes down to it. I've always been a techie. Back in my abcnews.com days, I was an early reader of CNET before anyone really knew what it was. And tech has just always been in the back of my head. I came on board with Oval working on, corporate documentation and this and that. And I had such a firm belief in this product and this team that it made it easy for me to walk away from a burgeoning law practice to enter into the exciting life of co-founder of a tech startup.
I like that. So we converted a lawyer, is what we say, right, into the tech world. So.
Yeah,
that's right.
Isn't that kind of the same thing, though?
Well, see, you know what? I had this tech company back early in my life also, and I had my lawyer that was doing up all the legal work, and I ended up giving him just like 10% of the company because I kept on spending so much time with him that I'm like, listen, I can give you 10% of my company, and you can just come in and help work with me. And he was a good guy. He did a great job with that. Okay, so. Explain the process of deciding not to have cameras, microphones on this device. I love this. This is the go-getter for me, besides your dongle, which we're going to talk about. And again, your dongle, I got a secret about why that's there. So that's what it's called. It's called a dongle.
I know what it's called. It just sounds like it.
All right. So explain the process. No microphones, no speakers.
Okay, so we set out knowing that there was going to be a huge segment of people that were going to want into the smart home game, but weren't going to want to have big tech in their home with them. They weren't going to want to have a microphone. They weren't going to want to have a camera listening to them, watching them all the time. We have smartphones with us all the time now, right? They're tracking us. People know people know where someone else is at all times, and it's left a lot of people outside of the smart home market. So we were able to look at this and say, well, big tech, large manufacturers, they've forgotten this segment of the population. They've forgotten this group of people that deserve just as much as anyone to be able to have notification of a leak, someone getting into their home, a window opening, a light going on that shouldn't, without feeling like someone else was watching or somebody else was listening.
All right, so that is fantastic. Now,
yeah, because it is a little weird when Alexa says stuff at night when you're trying to go to bed.
Yeah, or all of a sudden I'll search for something, or I'll talk with my wife about something, and all of a sudden I'll pick up my cell phone, and all of a sudden Google has the next 5 ads are just right there. And I'm like, how the heck? How would you know I needed concrete? Blah 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 blah. What are you talking about? Now I got 8 ads coming on in, and it's
super
just
intrusive.
Yeah, but I still do we have Alexa at our house, and so I still do just asking. Alexa is essentially my question and answer. So I'm watching a show, and there's an actor or an actress on there, and I want to find out more information. I ask Alexa, and it's amazing. It does provide me that stuff. But okay, all right. Next question. This has an attachment that essentially plugs into water. What made the idea of not having, because a lot of other companies have the sensor itself sit in a water area or sit nearer to a water area, and you guys actually have it so that you can mount the device and then have the dongle essentially go down into the area to see and detect water. What was the decision on that to kind of come up with that process?
Fair enough. So that's a great question, Nathan. Most of the other water detectors, they sit on the floor in a puddle of water. That's all they can do. Every single Oval sensor is multifunctional. Every single Oval sensor is a 5-in-1 device. And we didn't think that just because somebody wanted to detect water in that instance meant that they couldn't also detect motion, light, temperature, humidity at the same time. So we've also recognized that water goes in strange places. Water does strange things. Having one device that can only sit in a place that you can't reach to or go to is sometimes difficult. So by having a dongle connected to a wire, you can wrap it around a pipe. You could put it underneath a device. You could put it behind something. That was one reason. And also our main sensor is water resistant. We don't want it getting completely deluged with water. So by having the dongle that goes down with the additional water detector, it is able to get submerged, be able to send a notification, and the sensor is able to still do its other primary functions.
So that's fantastic. That is a good idea. And what's also nice is that you guys have generic batteries You don't have to go, and this device isn't self-containing. Essentially, you have the ability to open up, put in the standard batteries, which you can get down at any battery store. Not Fry's anymore, though.
No, not Fry's.
But any place of that you need to, so you can make sure that you have that battery taken care of. All right. What's the hardest part about bringing a product to market?
Good question. The hardest part about bringing a product to market is hardware is difficult. It takes a lot of research. It takes a lot of development. We've spent a lot of time honing this product. And, it's also difficult entering into what some people find to be a crowded space. So for us, that's where the differentiating features of not only being a multifunction device, but also respecting people's privacy was able to set us apart. It didn't happen overnight. We've been able to accomplish that. But, one of the other difficult things is getting recognized, getting noticed, and, having someone like yourself be able to do so is greatly rewarding to us.
So I'll tell you, it's not easy to get on our show with our product, because I make all of our products, and you guys you'll probably say yes. I make everybody that has a product, I have to see the product. I have to make sure the product works. If I'm going to put it on my show and we're going to talk about it as something that I'm very interested in working with, I need to, A, make sure it works correctly, B, that it has the information that they say they are, because I don't want a lot of these places will do vaporware stuff where someone will come up with an idea and talk about it, but it never works the way that they talk about. So I made sure this works the way I'm talking about it, with the sensor allocations of how it comes on up and shows the information in your guys' application, all the way to making sure that the device works correctly.
Did you dangle the dongle in the water?
Yes, it was in the water. It was but it was in just regular water, so it wasn't. I didn't put it down by a toilet or wrap it around. So you can reuse this again. Now, if I want to buy one of these units, where do I go right now to get one of these units? And what's the price point? I want to buy. If I'm going to buy it, I want to buy this pack right here, which comes with the Wi-Fi device. It comes with 2 sensors, the dongle detect water. Where can I find one of those today, and how much are they?
So you can find what you have there is our smart home kit, which is our Wi-Fi based hub and 2 sensors, each with a water detector. Comes with 4 batteries, so you have 2 backups, and you can find that on Amazon.com/oval, as well as on our website, MeetOval.com. And the smart home kit generally runs for MSRP of $199, and with that you get 2 sensors with 5 sensing features each. You can also buy separate hubs if you want to extend, and separate sensors if the 2 aren't enough for you, and those are available for $79 and $99 in the same locations. And we will soon be able to be found in the store beta B8TA. And hopefully soon will be accessible in Lowe's.
Okay, all right, in Lowe's you can go on in there. And now my wife hasn't seen this yet, because she does all of our smart IoT sensor stuff. And whenever we have something, I had the red box of the Tony Awards, and she bought one, and so this is going to go home, and then all of a sudden you're going to have an order 7 things coming on in for all of our sensors. So fantastic! All right, thank you very much for taking my paycheck this next.
There you go.
All right, thank you very much, Eric, for joining us. We are about to head out to break, but I do want to say that I am looking forward to touching base with you guys, see how you guys do in the future, and thank you for joining our program.
Thank you for having me. We look forward to talking to you again in the future as well.
All right, thank you. It's amazing. It's a very nice device. It has a lot of features. Yeah.
So if I don't know anything about this stuff, why would I want this?
So this is great, because if you really wanted to have sensors, so let's say you have a hot water heater that you really don't pay a lot of attention to. With this hot water sensor, you can essentially put it in there, and then the application that you load on your phone, very simple to do, and it even works with Alexa and other embedded objects, essentially will give me an alert when there's a leak on that hot water heater, so I don't have to find out about it later. Or if I want to put it up on a window for security, we have a bunch of these if you come to the Mumm house and you come in at 11 o'clock at night when these get sensed off, essentially if you try to knock on the window or you try to break the window itself, the sensor will go off, also allowing an alert to go on, and then you can even have that as a part of a major security process in place. Now, if I want to see the other those are the 2 real features that I would do. I don't know if I'd use it for humidity. You maybe want to do that if you maybe have a storage closet or something like that you want to keep at a certain area.
Or a garden area.
Or a garden area that you want to have a green room that's a little bit hot. And then also, if you want to detect light, it's got a sensor there for light. So maybe I'm out working in the office and I don't want to necessarily have to always turn it on and off my lights. I can do it through the app itself also.
Cool.
All right. So that is fantastic. We're going to go to a commercial break. This is a great time for you to go to Twitter, hashtag TechTime Radio, and ask us a question. Up next, we're really excited to have our guest, Phil Hennessy, back from Morpheus Tech. And we got a great subject to talk about, a bunch of vehicles.
Woohoo.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's happening?
Hey, have you heard of Podcorn?
Yeah, I eat it every night when I watch a movie.
No, not popcorn. Podcorn. Podcorn.com.
Oh, Podcorn. Yeah, I think I've heard of them.
You know, when we started out our podcast, there was no Podcorn. So what do we have to do, Mike?
Cook it ourselves.
No, not popcorn. Podcorn. So you have a podcast called What Drives You, right?
I do.
Have you gone and signed up to use Podcorn?
I have.
And what is your experience using Podcorn to help advertise your show?
It's fantastic.
All right. And what is your experience as a brand new podcaster?
Well, I have just done it. It's pretty easy. I'm really excited to see what happens.
That's great. So if you're starting a podcast, absolutely go and visit podcorn.com/podcasters. And if you want to advertise with Podcorn, there's also an opportunity to go to podcorn.com and you can sign up so that you can have great podcasts talk about your products. Go and visit https://podcorn.com.
Hi, this is Lisa Downs, host of Reigniting You, a new show here on KKNW that explores a variety of topics and timely issues for making mid to late career transitions. I'll be here every Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock bringing you guest interviews, career transition advice, and great stories to guide you to what's next in your career and life. Gain a renewed sense of purpose for your next phase with a positive, forward-looking approach. Get ready to be re-energized, recharged, and reignited Wednesdays at 3 o'clock.
Your business deserves the same expertise as that of a Fortune 500 company. If you need a CIO-level service, why hire a full-time staff member at $250,000 a year when you can get this on-demand service for fractions of the cost? As your CIO on demand, we'll give you the steps you need to take so as to minimize interruption to your business and profitability, and provide you and your business with training and education to prevent future attacks. To get an efficiency review for your business today, contact us at www.ee-services.com.
Welcome back to Tech Time Radio. I'm your host, Nathan
feel like
Mumm.
river dancing.
You feel like river dancing?
Yeah.
I'd pay to see that.
Yeah.
That would be very interesting. Welcome back to Tech Time Radio. How's that whiskey tasting, Mike?
Oh, it's good.
It's very good. It is very good. Now, we are going to navigate into a segment that we call Technology Insider as we look at the automotive industry with regarding cars, specifically autonomous vehicles. So Phil's going to join us, but let's get ready to enter our segment, Technology Insider.
Welcome to Technology Insider. We get the information directly from the source.
All right, here's the story that we have up right now. No drivers needed. Waymo rolls out a fully autonomous vehicle in Tempe, Arizona. You can now be a passenger of a full autonomous car. Waymo is a full driverless system. No one is inside, and it's just you and your fellow passengers. The company went fully autonomous in the new year after working on their product for over 11 years.
Call it Johnny Cab.
All right. Safety is our number one goal. We are building the world's most experienced driver. We have driven over 200 million rides on the road, and in simulations, we have driven 20 billion miles, says Ryan Powell, the Director of User Experience Research and Development for Waymo. All you have to do is open the app, just like Uber and Lyft, and Waymo will be there to give you your ride-sharing services. Now, during the pandemic, they approach having the space even better for safety with no other driver in the car. Waymo is providing a cabin air flush in between each ride for safety during the COVID-19 pandemic for those that are still worried about who was in the car previously.
Is it going to chat with me while it takes me to the airport?
All right, so we're bringing on my buddy Phil here. So let's talk about it.
It's not going to ignore me, huh?
Was that?
Is it going to chat with me when it takes me to the airport?
So autonomous cars. So Phil is our expert. Phil, I am so glad. Me and you had a conversation about this previously, so we're glad to have you back. Tell me, autonomous cars, they're now available.
Yes.
Are they safe? Are they not safe? What happens when it snows? What happens if it rains? What are these cars doing?
Well, they're very safe. I mean, you just talked about Google doing 11 years of study, DARPA projects before that. There's been a lot of smart engineers, a lot of people working on the safety factor of this. I've been in robotics and autonomous vehicles for over 5 years now, and safety is always the paramount on our minds as we're designing these types of systems.
Okay.
Now, however, the question is, they're testing it in Arizona, and your question is about snow.
Yeah, let's ask specifically about snow.
Right.
Because I'm thinking of Texas, right? So Texas is this big hub too. And all of a sudden they had this winter event that happened and they didn't know what to do, where the electricity was expensive in different areas. But tell me, what happens when these cameras on these cars aren't able to see the lines on the road?
Right. So I'm going to check out a little bit for you here, Nathan.
Okay.
First, let your listeners understand a little bit. What we have to do is we upload a sensor map that's already been done of the area the autonomous car is going to drive in. Okay. And that is from LiDAR and vision and radar systems. It's been driven through. It has this system. And then that system, the car as it's driving through has this map with GPS as well. And our sensors need to see that. Our LiDAR, which uses lasers, so it needs to be able to see through, see the areas that it's trying to understand. Same with vision. So anything that we can see, it can see. If we cannot see it, it cannot see it. And so what happens is if you have high snow or rain or these types of things, we're going to have a very hard time navigating, avoiding obstacles, and even just driving down the street. Our vision systems are looking for the white lines on the road. So if there's a sheet of ice or snow, I don't know if I'm even in the lane. And using GPS doesn't help because it's not that accurate. This is something we have to do with the local sensors on the car, not a GPS system.
So you're telling me if the weather conditions aren't correct, what happens to this car then? Was it going to steer off? Is it not going to drive? What's going to happen?
Well, I mean, typically a safety system, if it can't see, it's going to stop the vehicle. So, if you go and I've read some articles, what a lot of different smart companies are doing, but they don't want to give a comment on what are they going to do in inclement weather.
Right.
Because that is the challenge right now. If you look at what's going on in the industry, there's a lot of studies being done for the sensor that can do that. I'm actually doing a webinar in a couple of days on what is the perfect sensor for autonomous robots. And the answer is there isn't one. You have to use multiple sensors, and that's just for indoors. Now we're talking about outdoors as well. And so when you have snow and ice or rain or these types of things, if you can't see, the sensors can't see right now. So they're trying to figure out what other sensors to use that we can actually penetrate that snow or water or fog, those types of things to be able to see. The car will shut down and will stay safe, but you're not going to go anywhere.
So I've read some information regarding some technology where they're actually looking at using like some laser sensors under the road itself. Is that correct? Do you know anything about that?
Right, exactly. So what they're talking about is it's a laser. It's not lasers. We're using penetrating radar. And what happens is, we talked about we do maps ahead of time, right? So what would happen ahead of time is you'd have this penetrating radar system that would map the undergrounds and give you a fingerprint of all the roads of what it looks like underneath. And everything is unique. And so what would happen is you would have, and this is MIT's working on this, is that you would have the radar system penetrating the ground as you drive and already knowing the map, a high resolution map. So I could tell where I am. So I'm using GPS and the radar at the same time. So I have with the radar system, I can be within a 1-inch accuracy of the car, of knowing where I am in the lane or wherever else. And what's interesting about that too is that if it rains, it gets muddy underneath the road, and that actually your accuracy goes down to about 5.5 inches. Now that's still within us driving, so it's no big deal. But the accuracy even changes because of rain when we're trying to get this fingerprint of the road.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Autonomous cars. Would you get in one that you had no control over, Mike?
No.
All right, let me ask Phil. Phil, would you get in one that you?
No.
You okay? And I'm saying exactly the same thing also. So you know what? So we're coming a great. I love the assistance. Like some of these places have assistant deals, like a Tesla, right? Drive assistant. Ford has like a drive assistant where if I'm kind of veering to the left lane, it kind of moves over.
Well, does that that's like getting in my car with my grandmother, right?
Yeah.
I don't do that either.
You don't get in the car with your grandmother?
No,
so I can see the assist part, but I can't see autonomous. So tell us, what's the roadmap for autonomous cars? How far away are we from me and you and Mike getting into a car and feeling safe about it?
Well, I mean, you can get in a car now and feel safe. Let's be very clear about that, right? You're not going to get in an accident with these vehicles. The systems and the engineers and the regulators, what they're working on, you're going to be safe. Now, is it going to move is really your question. Are we going to go in certain places, in certain edge cases? I mean, what they've come in the last 15 years is amazing. Now we're finding all these edge cases, and that's the last 10% of the work is always the hardest. And so my personal opinion is we're still 10 years away from, some of these different challenges we need to do. Now, you're going to see cars like Google come out and Tesla have really sophisticated systems that are going to be able to operate in 90% of the places. But we still have all these edge cases we need to do. And I want to be clear, though. We're talking safe, you're safe, right? Are you going to be able to get to where you want to go? Are you going to need to assist that vehicle, with a steering wheel to get wherever you go? If you get stuck somewhere, say it's snowing, and I need to take over the vehicle. That's why when I read about certain companies that are talking about doing driverless, autonomous cars with no steering wheels, I'm like, I don't think we're there yet.
Okay. Yeah. So if you want to take a chance on your life, if you go to www.waymo.com and you're in the Tempe, Arizona area.
I'm pretty sure he just said something about that.
then you can either be sitting in traffic forever if it's snowing.
What he's saying is that turn by turn GPS stuff won't take you into a lake.
No, it won't take. I get that part, but you may still be like you're in normal Seattle traffic and not going anywhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't even walk in Seattle.
Okay, all right. Well, Phil, thank you very much for joining us on our show. We'll get back with you again in a couple weeks and have a new topic for you.
Thanks, Phil.
Great, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, Mike, as we head to a commercial break, we're going to be coming on back to Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, Nathan's Nugget, Pick of the Day, and of course we have our raffles for Story Coffee and our Pulse device. We'll see you guys right after this commercial break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
Mike, if I could only imagine having a plan in place to get those memories into photo books year after year. That just takes forever.
Actually, I don't have that problem because I use a service called Memory My Way. Members learn exactly how to get organized and in control, back up the right way, and the very best part is, everyone is paired with a professional designer who custom creates each book, saving members tons of time. That's www.memorymyway.com. And you can just go out there and become a point-and-shoot expert today.
TechTime listeners, a special for you. If you sign up, we will give you $5 off your first month. That's right, $5 off your first month by putting in the code TechTime at checkout. Visit them today, www.memorymyway.com. And tell them Nathan and Mike sent you.
Hello, Seattle. How would you like to have immediate and easy access to your live EKG and heart rate data? Your data right at your fingertips and with no need to hook up wires and leads or be strapped to a machine at the doctor's office. The new Pulse device from Vivomi continuously tracks your EKG and displays this data on your mobile phone. Have you ever wondered how your EKG and heart rate behaves when you're exercising at the gym, navigating the stressful demands of the workday, or just getting the kids ready for school or relaxing at home? The Pulse is a different kind of wearable, and you can experience this difference by going to www.vivomi.com and ordering your device today.
Skip and Sharon, hosts of the Psychic Spectrum radio show, are a prominent psychic couple. Besides hosting an exciting weekly radio show, they offer fans the Psychic Showcase and a fascinating speakers bureau. And their Talking to the Other Side events are not to be missed. Join their live events and even schedule a private psychic reading. Get started at psychicspectrum.com. That's psychicspectrum.com.
Upper Left Corner is a PNW true crime podcast now streaming on all major podcast platforms. If you get excited when your favorite true crime podcast tells a story about a place that you've been to or the town that you live in, then Upper Left Corner podcast is for you. Each week, I tell you a story of a crime that has taken place in the PNW and give you background about the town the crime occurred in. If you like true crime, check out Upper Left Corner podcast, now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and more.
Ace Hardware is a helpful place with prompt, friendly service, knowledge, and the little things that make a big difference.
Service.
Selection.
Advice.
Community involvement.
Competitive prices.
Convenience.
Located near you.
And the things you need, such as
house keys,
lawn and garden,
plumbing,
electrical,
hardware,
grills,
outdoor living supplies,
and even nuts and bolts.
When you visit Ace Hardware, you'll be greeted at the door and given the help you need.
So come visit us at Ace Hardware in Evergreen Way in Everett, Lake Stevens, and now Stanley.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Welcome back to TechTime Radio. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Corday here, and we're going to immediately get into our Mike's Mesmerizing Moment.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, presented by Story Coffee. Visit storycoffee.com.
Yeah, so we were talking about a minute ago, we were talking about climbing into an autonomous car. And part of that problem, part of it is not that the car is safe, is that we, as humans, we love control.
We do.
And
right?
I don't want to give up that control.
Okay.
Right? When I get in a car and I go to drive, I want to be in control.
Okay.
You know, that's why we...
So is our generation ever going to be able to do autonomous cars then?
I don't know. If you see this with like when the seatbelt laws came into effect. Yeah. I was upset about the seatbelt laws. It wasn't because it's logically I know it's safer.
Yeah.
But you're taking away some of my choice or some of my control. You're saying you can't do that. And we see this a lot. We're seeing this a lot. That's one of the problems with all the COVID stuff is that it's asking people to give up control, and that's hard for everybody to do. Now, when you have somebody who's raised with that, they are acclimatized to it a lot better than we are who aren't used to that kind of stuff. So there's a bit of that. There's a bit of that going on too. So there's this big control factor that goes into it. So we're going to question it and think, okay, it's not safe, but really it's about I don't want to give up that control.
That makes sense. That's a good Mike's Mesmerizing Moment. From there, we're going to go right into the Nathan Nugget.
Okay.
I'm going to lay.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
All right, Nathan Nugget of the Week. Okay, last week's episode, we thank our listener, Paul Harwood, who reached out to us and said essentially LastPass does have the ability to export your password. So I was wrong with the information. It used to not be able to because I tried to do it previously before. Mm-hmm. But newer versions of LastPass, you can absolutely take care of it. Now, we're going to be talking about specifically in my Nugget, antivirus. So I don't have tons of time to talk about antivirus. But let me tell you one thing that I can absolutely tell you. If you're paying for an antivirus and you're no longer, or you're using a free service, and you're not using the built-in Windows Defender, which just received a 6 out of 6 AV test report back in May and June of 2020, you're spending money for no reason.
You're going to take a shot at me?
Yeah, I'm going to take a shot at you. I know someone that has either one of these horrible Norton or McAfee or WebRoot or Conspiracy, any of those tools on your Windows platform. Delete, unsubscribe, go to Windows Defender. Your machine will operate better, and you won't have to worry about anything else. Now, if you have a Mac, there's a great utility called MacKeeper. But your Nugget of the Week is don't pay for antivirus anymore when Windows Defender is one of the best that's available for free.
All right.
You like that?
Yeah. And I know you're going to keep...
I'm going to keep on bugging you because I know that when I log into your computer and do different stuff, we have stuff. But that was our moment of... Okay, but now we're going to get ready to go to our next segment, which is called our Pick of the Day.
We got the music.
And now our Pick of the Day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right, we had our Jameson Irish Whiskey 80 proof, $29 per bottle, light floral fragrance, peppered spices. What did you think of it? You gonna give it a thumbs up?
Yeah, I liked it.
It was good. Now, are you giving it a thumbs up because last week's was so horrible, or do you just really like this?
No, this is really good. It's smooth. It's got a very pleasant taste, and it doesn't have a whole lot of bite. So it's not bourbon, but it's good.
It's good. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up also. So we had last week 2 thumbs down. Now we have 2 thumbs up. Now, Mike, we have 3 things to give away. I didn't give away the clubhouse because I didn't get a tweet that I saw that popped up there to ask a question. I had a couple Facebook Live and different items, but I need you now. We have thank you, fans. We have 1,500 fans that have signed up for our giveaways.
Better hurry.
We're going to give away the Pulse device first. Give me a thing. Number 1 through 1,500.
298.
Okay, that is a GWEN_ at hotmail.com. Congratulations. Story Coffee. We're giving away Story Coffee. Give me a number, 1 through 1,500.
299.
Oh, now I got to go back to different pages. What are you doing? All right. I said the higher numbers. How's that a high number? We have
one number
200
higher.
what? 259?
299.
299. UK Blue at Hotmail. Oh, sorry. UK something at Hotmail. All right. So now next week's show, I don't want to give the name away. Next week's show, we have James Riddle coming in and talking about some technology trends, and we also have our buddy Nick Espinoza.
Yeah, hurry.
I'm Nathan Mumm. See you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.